A billionaire receives a shocking call from a nurse. Your daughter is unconscious on the street. But he never knew he had a daughter. What unfolds next is a powerful journey of truth, betrayal, and redemption that will leave you speechless. Stay with us. The twist will break your heart and heal it all at once. Before we begin this incredible story, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you never miss our powerful, life-changing content. If you find value in these stories, like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. This channel is more than just storytelling. Each tale carries a meaningful moral lesson designed to inspire, heal, and uplift. Nurse called a billionaire and said, "Your daughter is lying unconscious on the street." What happened? I was in a glass tower, 43 floors above the noise of the city, when my assistant burst into my office. His face pale, his hand trembling as he handed me the phone. "It is urgent," he whispered. On the other end, a calm but shaken voice spoke. "This is Nurse Helen from Mercy General. Your daughter is lying unconscious on the street. She was brought in by a stranger. Sir, we need you here. Now." My hand gripped the desk so tightly. The veins bulged against my skin. The walls of my billion-dollar empire suddenly meant nothing. My knees buckled. I staggered back. Daughter? What daughter? I had never married. I had no child. Not one I knew of. But her name. The nurse had said her name. And it ripped something open inside me. Her name is Ilara. Ilara. My world spun. The name struck me like a ghost from a past I had buried. Buried beneath contracts, boardrooms, deals, and denials. 17 years ago, I was a boy with nothing but dreams and hunger. I loved a girl named Anna. She had eyes that calmed every storm inside me. We had nothing. Not a penny, not a plan. But we had each other. Until I let ambition rip us apart. I had chased wealth like a madman. Told her I needed time. Told her I would return when I had something to offer. But I never came back. By the time I looked up from my climb, she was gone. No calls. No trace. No closure. And now a child. My child was fighting for her life on a hospital bed. The car engine roared as I raced across the city. Every red light felt like a punch to the chest. Rain blurred the windshield. But the storm inside me was worse. Memories flashed. Anna laughing under a street lamp. Her hand brushing mine in the cold. Her voice whispering, "Do not become like them, Nathan. Do not lose your soul chasing what the world worships." I had. And now fate had dragged me back. To the very place where I first lost it all. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and sorrow. A nurse met me in the hallway. Her eyes held questions. And something more. Recognition. She led me silently to a small room with pale blue walls. And one frail girl, barely breathing, tubes in her nose, bruises on her temple. She looked like Anna, but with my jawline, my eyes. My soul broke. What happened to her? I choked. The nurse glanced down at the chart. She collapsed near an alley. Severe dehydration. Malnourished. Looks like she has been sleeping rough for weeks. I dropped into the chair beside the bed. My billion-dollar hands were shaking. My watch, worth more than a family home, suddenly felt like a shackle. "I failed you," I whispered. "I did not even know you existed." Then I heard a quiet voice. "She knows you." I turned. The nurse stood still, her voice gentle. "She came here once before. Just watched you from the lobby of your building. She said she did not want to ruin your life." My throat burned. Tears welled, uninvited. "She is my life," I said. "She is the only thing that could have saved me from myself." The nurse stepped closer. "There is something else." She handed me an old envelope. The paper was soft with age. The ink smudged with tears. My name was written in Anna's handwriting. I opened it, and inside was a letter. And a worn photograph. Anna, holding a baby. Both smiling with eyes full of hope. The letter began, "Nathan, if you ever find this, It means I could not protect her any longer. I pressed the photo to my lips. Grief clashed with guilt. Love battled regret. Suddenly, Ilara stirred. Her fingers twitched.
Her lips parted.
Her lashes fluttered like wings of a broken bird.
Trying to fly again.
My heart slammed in my chest.
I reached for her hand. And then, her eyes opened.
Barely. Just slivers of light. As if the world was too heavy for her to face all at once.
She blinked. Once. Twice.
Then turned her head slightly toward me.
I leaned closer, afraid to breathe.
Afraid I might scare the moment away.
Ilara, I whispered.
As if saying her name too loudly would hurt her.
It is me. Nathan. I am. She winced.
Her voice cracked like dry paper.
You are him. I nodded.
But shame clung to me like a second skin.
Yes.
I am your father.
Her lips trembled.
But not from weakness.
From something deeper. Why now?
Those two words sliced me open. Worse than any headline. Any business deal gone wrong. Any betrayal I had ever faced.
Why now?
Why only after she had collapsed in the street? Why only after a nurse found her when I never had? I wanted to tell her the truth. That I never knew. That I had been chasing skyscrapers. While my own blood was sleeping in the shadows of alleys.
But I saw in her eyes.
That the truth was not what she needed right now.
She needed presence. Not promises. So I took her hand.
Frail and bony.
And I whispered, I am here now.
And I will never leave again. Her tears slid down her cheeks.
And for a long moment, neither of us spoke. Because some wounds
do not want words.
They want time, warmth,
and unwavering presence. I slept on the chair that night. My hand still wrapped around hers.
Every beep of the monitor was a prayer.
Every breath she took was a lifeline being slowly rewoven. In the morning, I stepped out to speak to the nurse, Helen. She handed me a file. These were her belongings, she said softly.
A notebook, a sketch pad,
a single change of clothes.
And this.
It was a bracelet, worn leather, with a charm that read, Believe.
I turned it over.
There, etched into the metal in tiny cursive,
was Anna's name.
I gripped it like a relic. Was Anna ever here?
I asked. Nurse Helen nodded. She came once.
Years ago.
Begged for help.
But she looked scared. As if someone was chasing her. She disappeared before we could do anything. I stared at the bracelet. At the name I once loved and lost. Had Anna been on the run? Was Ilara raised in hiding?
And if so, from what? Or from who?
A chill spread through me. Not from the hospital air. But from the weight of unknown truths. There was more to this story. More than my own guilt.
More than absence.
More than poverty.
A secret.
Buried behind Anna's silence.
Etched into Ilara's pain.
And I had to uncover it.
Not just for them. But to become the man.
They had both needed me to be. Long before I even knew they were mine. So I walked back into that room. Sat by her side. And whispered, Ilara, I need to know everything. About your mother. About you. About what you have lived through. She looked at me. Her eyes filled with storms and stories. She opened her mouth.
But before she could speak, her breath caught.
A wave of pain passed through her face. Sharp, involuntary.
She closed her eyes tight. A tear slipped down. I pressed the call button.
The nurse rushed in. Checked her vitals.
Adjusted the 4.
She is still very weak, Nurse Helen said gently. She needs rest.
I nodded.
But inside, I was screaming. Screaming at myself.
For not being there.
For not seeing her sooner.
For failing Anna.
For failing them both. When the nurse left, Ilara opened her eyes again. I remember hiding under the stairs. She whispered. Whenever he got angry.
I froze. Who? She went on. Mom, she tried to protect me. Always. But he was bigger, meaner. He would drink. And then, she trailed off. Her lips trembled.
Her whole body seemed to shrink into the hospital bed.
Who was he, Elara?
I asked softly,
my heart pounding.
my voice tight with rage and fear. His name was Victor, she whispered. He was not my father.
But he was with Mom.
After you.
My stomach dropped. I had left Anna.
And someone else had taken my place. A man who hurt them both.
She looked at me,
eyes wide with sadness. I asked Mom once why she never called you.
She said,
she did not want to ruin your life.
That sentence.
It shattered me. She had carried the burden of raising our daughter alone.
In fear. In silence. To protect me. The man who left.
And I was the one who had lived in luxury. Blind to the war they fought in the shadows. I reached for Elara's hand again. I am so sorry, I said. I swear to you. You are safe now. Forever.
Her lips parted. A whisper.
I dreamed about you. You know.
I blinked.
Every birthday. I used to imagine you were out there.
Somewhere.
I would pretend you were watching. That you were proud of me. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Elara, I have done so much wrong. But if you give me the chance, I will spend the rest of my life making it right. She looked at me for a long time. Then, for the first time, she smiled. A small, tired but real smile. And in that moment, I felt something begin to heal. But healing is not the end. It is only the beginning. There were still questions. Where was Anna now? Was she alive? What really happened after she disappeared? And who exactly was Victor? And why did she fear him even after all these years? The answers were coming. And I was ready to face them all. The next morning, I arrived before the sun.
Elara was asleep.
Her chest rising gently. Her fingers curled around that leather bracelet. Like it was the only anchor she had left in the world. I stood at the window, watching the sky shift from violet to gold. Even the city felt quieter, as if it too was holding its breath. My phone vibrated. It was a number I did not recognize, but something in my gut told me to answer.
Hello, I said. A pause.
Then a voice I had not heard in 17 years.
Nathan.
I nearly dropped the phone.
Anna.
My throat clenched around her name. My knees gave out and I sank into the chair. Is it really you?
I whispered.
She exhaled, the sound trembling. I saw your face on the news last night. Outside the hospital. With Elara. How did you? I always kept a watch on her, she said.
Her voice raw.
Even when I could not be near her. Even when I was running.
Anna, where are you?
Why did you disappear?
She paused again. Then,
because Victor would have killed me if I stayed.
I closed my eyes.
The name burned in my mind. I thought I could protect her.
But one night,
he nearly broke her arm trying to punish me. That was the night I knew I had to run. My heart thundered in my chest. You left her with him? I had no choice, Nathan. I went to the police. They ignored me. I tried to take her, but he had people watching everywhere. I thought if I left, he would stop using her to control me. And did he?
No, she whispered.
I was wrong. I felt fire in my chest. Where is he now?
I do not know, she said.
I have been hiding in shelters, moving city to city. But last week, someone said they saw him again, near the hospital.
My blood froze.
You think he is here?
Maybe. Maybe not.
But I felt something in my bones. That is why I called. Elara is safe with me now, I said firmly. I will not let anyone near her.
Not him. Not anyone.
I want to see her, Anna whispered. But I am scared. I do not even know if she will forgive me.
She will, I said,
looking at our daughter through the glass. She never stopped hoping.
Anna's voice broke.
I never stopped loving her. I gave her the name of the hospital.
The floor. The room.
Come when you are ready, I said. But do not wait too long.
After the call,
I stood outside Ilara's door.
Victor.
His name echoed like a warning. I had built billion-dollar defenses against corporate threats.
But this
was war of the heart. And I would fight with everything I had. Later that day, Ilara awoke again. She was stronger.
Her voice clearer. Her eyes brighter.
We sat by the window. Sunlight pouring in like hope itself.
She turned to me.
Did you know Mom is alive?
I hesitated, then nodded. She called me. Her lips parted.
And for the first time, I saw something shift inside her, like a door long locked had opened.
I want to see her, she said softly. She is coming, I promised. But Ilara.
There is something you should know.
She tilted her head.
I think Victor is near. And we need to be ready.
Her jaw tightened. But she did not cry.
She looked me dead in the eyes.
Then we find him.
We end this.
For good.
I stared at my daughter. This girl, born in silence, raised in fear, abandoned by justice, was now stronger than anyone I had ever known. And I knew in that moment, my empire meant nothing, if I could not protect her soul.
There was more to uncover, more to heal,
and a reckoning waiting to happen. But now we would face it together, as father and daughter.
That night,
the hospital room felt different.
Not cold, not sterile,
but alive. Like something sacred was being stitched back together.
One heartbeat at a time.
Ilara sat up slowly, her back against the pillows, her fingers drawing soft circles on the hospital blanket.
Her voice was quiet, but firm. Dad,
I want to tell you everything, even the parts that hurt. I moved closer, my chest heavy with both dread and devotion.
I am here.
I will listen to every word.
She closed her eyes. When I was little,
I thought Victor was just sick, that he would get better. He told me Mom was crazy, said she ran away because she hated me. I clenched my fists, but said nothing. I believed him, she continued, her voice cracking. For years, I thought I was the reason she left, that I was unlovable. A tear fell from her eye, and then another. I used to sit by the window, and imagine you were out there, somewhere, coming for me. My heart shattered. I reached out and gently wiped her cheek. I was out there, I said softly. Lost, but not gone. And I will never let anyone make you feel unlovable again. She looked at me. Not as the billionaire they wrote about in magazines, but as a man, a father, flawed, present. After Mom left, she said, Victor got worse. He stopped pretending, started drinking more, locking me in the bathroom when he was angry. I felt my breath catch. I am so sorry, Ilara. She nodded slowly. One day when I was 12, he hit me so hard I passed out. When I woke up, there was blood on the floor, and he was gone. What happened then? I whispered. I ran. I found a neighbor who helped me hide. I bounced through shelters, foster homes. I changed schools, changed names, always looking over my shoulder. Her eyes filled with fire now. But I never stopped drawing, never stopped dreaming, and I never stopped wondering who you were. What kind of man leaves and never looks back? I lowered my head. I cannot undo what I did not know, but I can spend the rest of my life proving that I am here now, and I will never look away again. Silence settled between us. Not awkward, not bitter, but sacred. Then a soft knock at the door. I stood, confused. We were not expecting anyone this late. The door creaked open, and there she stood, Anna. Her hair longer now, face thinner, eyes heavier, but unmistakable.
Ilara gasped. Mom! Anna stepped in, her body trembling.
Ilara, she whispered, her voice breaking like waves on broken rocks. I am here, baby. I am so sorry. Ilara stared at her, frozen between love and betrayal.
And then,
she opened her arms.
Anna rushed forward,
collapsing into her daughter's embrace.
They held each other.
Sobs tangled in silence. Years of pain, explained without a single word. I stood there, watching the two halves of my heart find each other again. I felt something shift inside me.
A layer of ice,
buried by years of greed, finally cracked. But the moment did not last, because out of the corner of my eye, through the crack in the hospital door,
I saw a shadow, a tall figure, familiar, watching,
then disappearing down the hallway.
Victor. He had found them.
I rushed into the hallway.
Empty.
Just the hum of fluorescent lights, and the distant shuffle of a janitor's mop.
But I knew what I saw. That gait, that hunched, stalking posture.
The way he lingered just long enough to send a chill down my spine. Victor was here.
Watching. Waiting.
I turned back into the room. Anna was still cradling Ilara. Both of them wrapped in the silence of reunion. I did not want to shatter that moment.
But I had no choice. Anna, I said, my voice calm, but urgent. Take Ilara. We need to move. Now.
She looked up at me, fear blooming in her eyes.
You saw him. I nodded.
Ilara looked from me to her mother.
Who? She asked,
already knowing the answer.
Anna held her tighter. Victor.
Ilara's face paled,
but she did not cry. Not this time. She sat up straighter,
her eyes fierce with something new. I am not running anymore, she said. Her voice was low, steady. I am tired of hiding.
I stepped forward.
You will not have to.
But we are not staying here tonight.
He knows where you are now. I have a secure property, 20 minutes from here.
Anna hesitated.
I do not want him to follow us.
He won't, I assured her.
I have security now. People who owe me everything. He comes near, he will regret it.
She gave a shaky nod. We moved quickly.
I had my driver bring the car around to the back entrance. 2 plainclothes guards met us at the service elevator.
They kept close. Silent. Alert.
Ilara walked on her own.
Each step slow but determined. She would not be seen as weak. Not again.
We rode in silence. The city lights flickering outside like restless ghosts. Anna held Ilara's hand the whole way, her thumb brushing over the bracelet again and again. A nervous rhythm. Or maybe a prayer. The car pulled into the underground garage. My estate was modern, fortified, hidden behind layers of privacy.
No press. No neighbors. No chance of being found. As we stepped inside, Ilara looked around. She said nothing, but her eyes took in the marble floors, the golden chandeliers, the vast windows that overlooked a sleeping city. I lived in a tent last month, she whispered. I said nothing. There was no excuse. Only action now. We set her up in the guest suite. Plush pillows, warm lighting. A window that faced the ocean. She lay down slowly, Anna beside her, stroking her hair. I will be in the hallway, I told them. Call if you need anything. Anna looked at me, long and hard. We were not hiding from you, Nathan. We were hiding from the world you escaped. I nodded. I know that now. I stepped out, closed the door gently, and turned to the security guard waiting nearby. Lock down the house. No one gets near the perimeter. Scan every camera feed. If Victor shows his face, I want to know before he breathes. The guard nodded, but in my chest, a storm was already gathering. Because if Victor had followed us once, he would do it again. And next time, he would not come to watch. He would come to destroy. But this time, he would find something waiting for him. Not fear, not flight, but a father. And a man.
who had finally remembered what was worth fighting for.
3 weeks passed. Victor was found. Not by the police.
But by the trail of lies he left behind. He had tried to slip through the cracks. But my team was relentless. Not to seek revenge, but to ensure he never came near Lara or Anna again. He was arrested in another state,
Caught with forged documents.
and decades of sins finally catching up to him. Justice came slowly,
But it came. And for once,
we were not the ones running,
Ilara healed. Not just her body.
but the shattered parts of her heart.
She began to draw again.
Every morning, I would find her sketching by the window, sunlight warming her pale cheeks, pencil dancing like a quiet song in her hand. She started speaking to Anna more openly, asking questions she had buried for years.
They laughed. They cried. They rebuilt. Together. One night,
I sat on the balcony, watching the waves roll in. Ilara came beside me. She handed me a drawing.
it was us. The 3 of us.
Standing in a field of sunflowers. She had drawn my arm around her shoulders, Anna's hand holding hers. All of us smiling.
No fear. No secrets. Just peace. I think, she said.
This is what family is supposed to feel like.
I could not speak.
I simply nodded, pulled her into my arms,
And held her tight.
That story began with a phone call.
A moment of panic.
A daughter unconscious on a street. A past I never faced crashing into the life I built. But it ended with love rediscovered. With broken hearts choosing to heal.
Instead of harden.
With a man who once chased wealth, realizing that no fortune was ever greater than the people waiting to be loved.
Moral lesson.
Sometimes, life forces us to stop running from our past, so we can finally walk into our purpose. True wealth is not measured in money or success, but in love, forgiveness, and the family we choose to fight for. It is never too late to return to what truly matters. Thank you for listening to this heartfelt story. If it moved you, share it, comment below, and remind someone out there today. You are never alone.